during that campaign. And yet here's what then Senator Obama said about him then.
And then I've got to give a special shout out to my pastor, the guy who puts up with me, counsels me, listens to my wife complain about me. He's a friend and a great leader, not just in Chicago, but all across the country. So please, everybody, give an extraordinary welcome to my pastor, Dr. Jeremiah Wright, Jr., Son of the United Church of Christ. Where is he at? There he is. That's him. That's him right there. You're wearing a suit today, right?
Now it gets even worse as candidate Obama then injects a heavy dose of racially charged rhetoric into his remarks, speaking about Hurricane Katrina. He goes off script and he claims that the victims of that storm were ignored by the government. On the other hand, 9/11 survivors and those impacted by Hurricane Andrew, they received endless government assistance. Watch this.
I just want to give you one example because this one steams me up. This is in the prepared remarks. Down in New Orleans, where they still have not rebuilt 20 months later. There's a law, federal law, when you get reconstruction money from the federal government called the Stafford Act. And basically it says, when you get federal money, you've got to give a 10% match. The local government's got to come up with 10%. Every $10 federal government comes up with, local government's got to give $1. Now here's the thing. When 9/11 happened in New York City, they waived the Stafford Act. Said this is too serious a problem. We can't expect New York City to rebuild on its own. Forget that dollar you got to put in. Well, here's $10. And that was the right thing to do. When Hurricane Andrew struck in Florida, people said, look at this devastation. We don't expect you to come up with your own money here. Here's the money to rebuild. We're not going to wait for you to scratch it together because you're part of the American family. What's happening down in New Orleans? Where's your dollar? Where's your Stafford Act money? Makes no sense. Tells me the bullet hasn't been taken out. Tells me that somehow the people down in New Orleans, they don't care about as much.
Now, this notion that the government is turning its back on African-American communities while doing all it can for predominantly white areas is repeated throughout the speech. Look at this.
And that's why we need additional federal public transportation dollars flowing to the highest need communities. We don't need to build more highways out in the suburbs if we have people in the cities right now who want to work but have no way to get into those jobs. We've got to help connect them to the jobs that exist. We should be investing in minority-owned businesses in our neighborhoods so people don't have to travel for miles away.
Now, this is what so-called unbiased journalists have been trying to hide for years. It is a glimpse into the mind of the real Barack Obama, and it's one that all Americans need to pay close attention to. Joining me now to talk about this video is the man who broke the story, Tucker Carlson from the Daily Caller. Tucker, welcome on board. It's pretty explosive stuff, and we've got more that we're going to get to here. Let's backtrack here. This video was released, or at least, what, 9 minutes of it was, and a prepared text was released, but not the ad-libbed remarks by the president, which are the most controversial. It never got reported on, correct? That's exactly right. This was covered at the time. There were reporters in the room. I had a show at the time on another channel, and I covered the